It started as a dare. Maya, Leo, and Sam never expected the floor of the abandoned Blackwood Manor to give way. 1 second they were laughing, flashlight beams dancing off dusty portraits, and the next, they were tumbling into pitch darkness. When the dust settled, Maya groaned, rubbing her bruised elbow. She clicked on her flashlight. The beam cut through a heavy, damp fog, revealing walls of rough-cut black stone that seemed to absorb the light. They were trapped in a massive subterranean maze. "Where are we?" Sam whispered, his voice trembling. "The cellar shouldn't be this deep," Leo muttered, pointing his light behind them. The trapdoor they had fallen through was easily 30 feet above, completely out of reach. Suddenly, a low, guttural growl echoed from the dark corridors. The air grew freezing cold, and their breath plumed in the air. The walls seemed to breathe, a sickening, wet sound echoing from the darkness. "We need to move, now," Maya said, her heart hammering against her ribs. They ran down the nearest corridor, but every turn looked identical. The scratching sounds grew louder, closer, scraping against the stone. Shadows stretched along the walls, moving independently of their flashlights. It felt as though the labyrinth itself was alive, shifting to block their escape. When they reached a dead end, the scratching stopped. Ahead of them, a thick, tar-like darkness began to pool on the floor, rising into a terrifying silhouette with glowing red eyes. They were cornered. Maya gripped Leo's hand, bracing for the worst. The creature lunged, its razor-sharp claws extended. Just as the creature's claws were about to slice through the dark, a blinding flash of silver light erupted. A heavy broadsword clashed against the monster's claws, sending a shower of bright sparks into the damp air. The beast shrieked, a sound like tearing metal, and recoiled into the shadows. Standing between the terrified teenagers and the creature was a figure straight out of a legend. He wore gleaming silver plate armor etched with ancient runes that glowed with a soft, protective blue light. He removed his helmet, revealing a jawline carved from marble, flowing golden hair, and piercing emerald eyes. He was breathtakingly handsome, possessing a calm, ethereal grace that seemed completely out of place in this horrific nightmare. "Stay behind me," he commanded, his voice a rich, soothing baritone that instantly calmed their racing hearts. He swung his sword in a wide arc, unleashing a wave of light that pushed the creeping shadows back into the crevices of the stone walls. The monster hissed and vanished into the darkness. The mysterious savior turned to the trio, offering a gentle, reassuring smile. "Are you all right?" he asked. Maya could barely find her voice, nodding dumbly while Sam gasped, "Who? What are you?" "I am Sir Alistair," the knight replied, sheathing his glowing blade. "I am the guardian of this cursed sanctuary. You have stumbled into the Obsidian Labyrinth, a prison for ancient, hungry entities. You cannot survive here alone, but I swear on my honor, I will guide you to the surface. But we must be swift. The master of this maze knows you are here, and his hunters are already tracking your scent." Sir Alistair led them deeper into the maze, his glowing sword acting as a beacon of hope against the crushing dark. Maya walked close to him, comforted by the faint scent of pine and ozone that seemed to cling to his silver armor. "How long have you been down here, Alistair?" she asked quietly. A shadow of sadness crossed his handsome face. "Longer than the trees above have stretched their branches," he murmured. "But my duty is eternal, to protect the innocent from the dark." Leo looked back anxiously. The walls were whispering now, soft, hissed words that crawled into their minds, urging them to give up, to lie down and let the dark consume them. "Don't listen to them," Alistair warned, his hand finding Maya's shoulder, sending a wave of warmth through her. "The maze feeds on your despair. Keep your eyes on my light." Suddenly, the stone path beneath their feet began to crumble. Below them lay a bottomless chasm, filled with a swirling vortex of screaming souls. The only way across was a narrow, icy stone archway. One at a time, Alistair commanded, taking the lead. He crossed gracefully, then reached his hand out. Sam went first, sliding across the slick stone. Leo followed, but just as he reached the center, a skeletal hand shot out from the chasm, grabbing his ankle. Leo screamed, slipping over the edge. Alistair reacted instantly. Leaping forward, he caught Leo's hand just as he fell. With a powerful heave, the knight pulled Leo to safety, his muscles straining against the armor. But the movement cracked the stone arch. It began to collapse rapidly behind them, separating them from the way they came. With the bridge gone, there was no turning back. The air grew heavier, smelling of decay and sulfur. "We are close to the threshold," Alistair said, brushing a stray lock of golden hair from his forehead. Even covered in dust and soot, his beauty was striking, a stark contrast to the grim, terrifying environment. But the final gate is guarded by the Weaver of Nightmares. As if on cue, the temperature plunged. Frost spread rapidly across the stone floor. From the ceiling, a massive, spider-like horror descended. Its body was made of fused bones and writhing shadows, and its face was a mosaic of weeping human masks. Sam shrieked, backing into Leo. The creature spat a stream of black, corrosive acid. Alistair leapt in front of them, raising his shield. The shield's runes flared, absorbing the acid with a loud hiss. "Run to the gate," Alistair yelled, pointing to a massive iron door at the end of the hall, carved with a sun symbol. "Maya, the key is the seal on the pedestal. You must channel your courage to turn it." Maya, Leo, and Sam sprinted toward the pedestal while Alistair engaged the beast. The clash of metal against bone echoed through the chamber. The knight moved like a dance of light, dodging the deadly legs of the Weaver, his sword slicing through the shadow flesh. But the beast was relentless. It knocked Alistair's shield away, pinning him against the wall. "Maya, the seal!" Alistair shouted, coughing as a shadow vine wrapped around his throat. Maya reached the pedestal. A cold iron dial sat in the center, locked tight by dark magic. She placed her hands on it, feeling her fears try to paralyze her. "I can't do it," Maya cried, tears stinging her eyes as she watched the monster press its razor-sharp legs closer to Alistair's chest. "You can." Alistair's voice echoed in her mind, clear and warm. "Belief is the brightest flame. Trust in your friends, trust in yourself, and the dark will flee." Leo and Sam placed their hands over Maya's. "Together," Leo said, his voice steadying. "We got this," Sam agreed. As their combined strength and resolve united, a brilliant, warm light erupted from their hands. The dark magic sealing the dial shattered like glass. Maya turned the wheel. With a deafening rumble of ancient gears, the massive iron door began to slowly grind upward, revealing a blinding shaft of morning sunlight pouring down from a spiral staircase. But the Weaver, enraged by the light, let out a deafening screech and lunged away from Alistair, heading straight for the teenagers. Alistair, bleeding gold-hued light from a wound on his shoulder, threw himself into the beast's path. He drove his sword deep into the monster's central eye. The Weaver shrieked, disintegrating into a cloud of black ash that quickly dissolved in the incoming sunlight. Alistair fell to one knee, using his sword to prop himself up. His armor was cracked, and he breathed heavily, but he looked up at them with a triumphant, breathtaking smile. "The way is open," he whispered, his eyes shining with relief. "Go, quickly, before the temple collapses." The ceiling began to rain heavy stones. "We aren't leaving you," Maya shouted, running back toward him. "You must," Alistair said gently, stopping her with a soft wave of his hand. As the sunlight touched him, his body began to shimmer, turning into floating particles of gold dust. "My physical form is bound to this labyrinth. By defeating the Weaver and freeing you, my soul is finally set free. I cannot walk into your world, but I go to a peaceful rest because of your bravery." Maya felt a tear slip down her cheek. "Thank you, Sir Alistair," she whispered. The knight smiled, a radiant, unforgettable expression of pure gratitude. "Carry the light within you, always," he said. With a final, warm glow, his form dissolved completely, leaving behind only his silver sword, which dissolved into a gentle breeze that pushed the three friends toward the staircase. Leo grabbed Maya's hand, and Sam pulled them both toward the steps as the chamber began to cave in completely. They scrambled up the spiral stone stairs, the sound of crashing rocks echoing behind them. Finally, they burst through a hidden wooden hatch, collapsing onto the dew-kissed grass of the forest outside Blackwood Manor. The hatch slammed shut behind them, sealed forever by falling debris below. They lay there under the bright, warm morning sun, breathing in the fresh air. The terrifying ordeal was over. They had survived the impossible, saved by a legendary protector who had given them the courage to conquer their deepest fears. Looking back at the quiet manor, Maya knew they would never forget the Obsidian Labyrinth, or the handsome knight who had given everything to guide them home.